Om Shanti and good morning, everyone. Today, for the exercises, we have Brother Prakash with us, who has been associated with the Brahma Kumaris for over around 20 years. He is a psycho neuro healer, brain gym trainer, and a Reiki master also. He's expert in yogasana and he also takes sessions in corporate schools and colleges. So I welcome Brother Prakash to take us through the morning meditation along with exercises session. प्रकाश भाई आपको रिक्वेस्ट भेजी है अनम्यूट करने के लिए और वीडियो ऑन करने के लिए, तो आप वीडियो ऑन करके स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं.
ओम शांति. तीन इंपॉर्टेंट बातें होती हैं. सबसे पहले होता है योगासन, उसके बाद होता है एक्सरसाइज और बाद में होता है मेडिटेशन. आज के सेशन में हम योगासन के बारे में समझेंगे और करने की कोशिश करेंगे. बहुत सिंपल एक्सरसाइज होगा. डेली आप 20 मिनट का अगर योगासन कर लेते हो तो अपने हेल्थ बहुत अच्छी रख सकते हो. इसके लिए मैं चाहूंगा आप सभी लोग खड़े हो जाएंगे. पहले हम जॉगिंग करेंगे, उसके बाद हम योगासन करते हैं. ठीक है? जैसे मैं कर रहा हूँ उसी प्रकार से करना है. ज्यादा कुछ डिफिकल्ट नहीं है. दोनों हाथों को इस प्रकार से करें, दोनों मुट्ठी के बीच में. फिर हाथ ऐसे रहेंगे और साथ में आपको रनिंग करना है. बस बिल्कुल सिंपल. मैं चाहता हूँ जिनको हार्ट के प्रॉब्लम्स है, बीपी की तकलीफ है, वो लोग फोर्सफुली नहीं करेंगे, बिल्कुल साइलेंटली करेंगे. अगर चेस्ट पेन होता है इमीडिएटली रुक कर दोनों पैरों को ऐसा करके अपने माउथ से जोर से सांसों को बाहर फेंकना है. ठीक है? स्टार्ट शुरू करेंगे. स्टार्ट. कंटिन्यू. रिलैक्स. अभी आपके हार्ट बीट बढ़ गए, उस पर ऑब्जर्व करो. दोनों हाथ दोबारा घुटनों पे रखोगे. जीभ बाहर, सांसों को बाहर फेंकना है. हार्ट बीट नॉर्मल होने तक सांसों को बाहर फेंकेंगे. वैसे कम से कम 3 से 5 मिनट करना है, लेकिन शायद हो सकता है कुछ लोग पहली बार कर रहे हैं, मैं इसलिए ज्यादा नहीं कराऊंगा. चेंज. अब दूसरा एक्सरसाइज बिल्कुल सिंपल है. इस प्रकार से स्टार्ट. रिलैक्स. दोनों हाथ घुटनों पर, जीभ बाहर, जोर से हवा को बाहर फेंकेंगे. इससे अपनी बॉडी की हीट कम हो जाती है. ध्यान रखना जीभ पूरी बाहर होनी चाहिए. रिलैक्स. आप दोनों हाथ अपने शोल्डर्स पर, अब क्या करना है, एक्स बनाना है इस प्रकार से। स्टार्ट करेंगे सभी। कंटिन्यू कंटिन्यू। आपके एंकल जॉइंट में स्प्रिंग टेंशन आना चाहिए, थोड़ा जंप मत करना है, जंप मारेंगे। कंटिन्यू कंटिन्यू। दोनों हाथ शोल्डर्स पर, अपने एल्बोस को नी को टच करेंगे। कंटिन्यू। पैर ऊपर उठाओ, पैर ऊपर उठाओ, नीज को ऊपर लो, और ऊपर और ऊपर। जो फास्ट नहीं करते वो धीरे से करेंगे, लेकिन नीज ऊपर आनी चाहिए चेस्ट तक। करो सभी फास्ट फास्ट। रिलैक्स रिलैक्स रिलैक्स। अगर आप लोगों को पसीना आ रहा है, इसका मतलब आप सही कर रहे हो। नहीं आ रहा है मतलब आप सिर्फ देख रहे हो। फिर से दोनों हाथ घुटनों पर। ऑब्जर्व योर हार्ट बीट्स। अपने हार्ट बीट पर, धड़कनों पर ध्यान देंगे। उसे नॉर्मल होने तक ऐसा रुकना है। होल्ड योर राइट हैंड। दोनों पैरों में अंतर, आंखें बंद। टेक अ डीप ब्रीथ। गहरी सांसें लेंगे, अपने हार्ट बीट को महसूस करेंगे। हार्ट बीट नॉर्मल होने तक रिलैक्स करना है। ऑब्जर्व योर हार्ट बीट्स। अपने धड़कनों पर ध्यान दो। अब धीरे धीरे वो नॉर्मल होते जा रहे हैं, नॉर्मल होते जा रहे हैं। चेंज। अब दूसरा प्रकार देखेंगे। अपने लेफ्ट हैंड से राइट हिल को टच करना है इस प्रकार से। इस एक्सरसाइज में मोस्टली मैं क्या करूँ, लेफ्ट और राइट ब्रेन का बैलेंस करने के लिए अभ्यास बता रहा हूं। इससे क्या होता है, हमारी न्यूरॉन सिस्टम एक्टिवेट होती है, ब्रेन के लिए सपोर्ट होता है। इस प्रकार का एक्सरसाइज हम सीख रहे हैं, ठीक है। करेंगे सभी साथ में। स्टार्ट। ध्यान रखना, क्रॉस होना चाहिए, एक्स के टाइप पोजीशन बनानी है। करेंगे सभी, सबको ठीक से। स्टार्ट। कंटिन्यू कंटिन्यू। करेंगे फास्ट। रिलैक्स। अभी बिल्कुल सिंपल एक्सरसाइज। दोनों पैर दूर, दोनों पैरों में अंतर और हाथ साइड में। स्टार्ट। बिल्कुल सिंपल एक्सरसाइज है, सभी करेंगे। दोनों हाथ साइड में, दोनों पैर साइड में। कंटिन्यू कंटिन्यू। सभी कर रहे हैं, मैं समझता हूँ, देखना नहीं है, करने से ही फायदा होगा, इसलिए सभी करेंगे। फिर से स्टार्ट। ये बिल्कुल सिंपल है, इसमें कुछ नहीं है। दोनों पैर साइड में जा रहे हैं, दोनों हाथ साइड में, इतना इजी है। कंटिन्यू। चलो रिलैक्स। अभी थोड़ा नया प्रकार, हाथ अपने सिर के पीछे, लेफ्ट हैंड सिर के पीछे, राइट हैंड लेफ्ट नीज के ऊपर। स्टार्ट। थोड़ा रेस्ट करेंगे सभी लोग। कोई लोग पहली बार कर रहे हैं तो बहुत थक जाते हैं, इससे थोड़ा रेस्ट करेंगे। फिर से अपने लेफ्ट हैंड से राइट हैंड को पकड़ना है। आंखें बंद, क्लोज योर आईज, टेक अ डीप ब्रीथ, ऑब्जर्व योर हार्ट बीट्स। टेक अ डीप ब्रीथ, inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. Inhale through your nostril, exhale through your mouth. नासिका से सांसों के लेंगे और मुख से सांसों को छोड़ेंगे। जब आप मुख से सांसों को छोड़ते हैं तो पूरा हीट बाहर निकल जाता है। चाहे तो आप चेक कर सकते हो, जब आप इस प्रकार से करते हो हवा ठंडी होती है, और जब आप पूरा माउथ खोलकर फेंकते हो हवा गर्म होती है। तो आप चेक करके समझ सकते हैं कि शरीर की हीट अगर बाहर फेंकनी है, हमें मुख को ज्यादा ज्यादा ओपन करके हवा बाहर फेंकनी है, तो तुरंत हीट कम हो जाएगी शरीर की। चलो अब हम सिंपल सिंपल एक्सरसाइज करेंगे। पैरों पर ध्यान देंगे। इस प्रकार से अपने हील को ऊपर उठाना है और हाथ ऊपर लेके जाना है। पूरे शरीर का वजन अपने टोज पर, पैरों की उंगलियों पर शरीर, पूरे शरीर का वजन लाएंगे। हाथ ऊपर। स्टार्ट। 1 2 3 4 5। वार्म अप में क्या होता है, हमारे जितने भी जॉइंट्स है, हर एक जॉइंट्स की मूवमेंट होनी चाहिए, और शुरुआत हम करते हैं पैरों की उंगलियों से। इसलिए हमने क्या किया, पूरा शरीर का वजन अपने टोस पर लाया, हील को ऊपर उठाया, वापिस नीचे रखा। करेंगे सभी इस प्रकार से। रिलैक्स। अब दूसरा प्रकार, इसमें क्या करना है, दोनों हाथ अपने थाइस के नीचे, पैरों के नीचे रखेंगे और सिर्फ एंकल जॉइंट की मूवमेंट करेंगे। अप डाउन, अप डाउन, अप डाउन, सभी को करना है। फिर दूसरा पैर, लेफ्ट पैर, अप डाउन, अप डाउन, अप अप डाउन, अप डाउन। रिलैक्स। अब इसी जॉइंट को, एंकल जॉइंट को गोल घुमाएंगे, क्लॉकवाइज 3 बार, एंटी क्लॉकवाइज 3 बार। ठीक है, करेंगे सभी। पैर ऊपर उठाओ, दोनों हाथों से पैर को सपोर्ट दो और गोल घुमाओ, क्लॉकवाइज देन एंटी क्लॉकवाइज। दूसरा पैर, क्लॉकवाइज देन एंटी क्लॉकवाइज। बहुत इजी स्टेप्स है, सिंपल है। हर एक जॉइंट्स की मूवमेंट होनी चाहिए। उसके बाद अपने नी जॉइंट के लिए दोनों हाथ नी जॉइंट पे रखेंगे इस प्रकार से, और दोनों को गोल घुमाएंगे। बिल्कुल गोल घुमाना है। देखो यहाँ पर हम क्या कर रहे हैं, हर एक जॉइंट्स की मूवमेंट कर रहे हैं, बिल्कुल सिंपल है। फिर अपोजिट डायरेक्शन में दोनों घुटने एक दूसरे को टच कर रहे हैं। गुड। अब क्या करना है, दोनों घुटनों में अंतर लेके आगे की तरफ फिर पीछे की तरफ। कंटिन्यू कंटिन्यू। दोनों हाथ घुटनों पर, हल्का सा बेंड करेंगे घुटनों को और गोल घुमाएंगे। रिलैक्स। अब दोनों पैरों में अंतर और अपना लेफ्ट हैंड से राइट टो को टच करना है, फिर अपोजिट डायरेक्शन। बिल्कुल सिंपल है, सभी करेंगे। हर एक जॉइंट्स की मूवमेंट होनी चाहिए, ध्यान रखो। अब हम बैक एक्सरसाइज के भी कर रहे हैं, पूरा बैक इसमें ओपन हो जाता है, क्लियर हो जाता है। अगर कोई अकड़न हो वो निकल जाती है। और हम ट्विस्ट कर रहे हैं, देखो, है ना। इसलिए आगे झुकना है और अपने राइट हैंड से लेफ्ट लेग को पकड़ना है, लेफ्ट से राइट को। कंटिन्यू कंटिन्यू। कंटिन्यू कंटिन्यू कंटिन्यू। रिलैक्स रिलैक्स। क्लोज योर आईज, आंखें बंद रखेंगे, आंखें बंद रखेंगे। आप दोनों पैरों में अंतर, दोनों हाथ साइड में, और ट्विस्टिंग करना है। पूरा शरीर पीछे की तरफ जाना है, लेके जाएंगे। देखो लेफ्ट हैंड आगे तक आया है मेरा, फिर इस प्रकार से चलो करेंगे। देखो बैक को ट्विस्ट करना है और शोल्डर को भी पूरा ट्विस्ट करना है। कंटिन्यू करेंगे, ट्विस्ट करेंगे। नेक को पीछे की तरफ लेके जाओ, पूरी गर्दन पीछे की तरफ, पूरा नेक पीछे की तरफ। रिलैक्स। अब शोल्डर्स के लिए आप बैठ के भी कर सकते हैं, बैठ के भी कर सकते हैं। तभी बैठ जाएंगे नीचे। दोनों हाथ शोल्डर पर टच करेंगे, आगे फिर पीछे लेके जाएंगे। बिल्कुल सिंपल एक्सरसाइज है, ज्यादा कुछ नहीं इसमें, बिल्कुल इजी है। रिलैक्स। अब दोनों हाथ शोल्डर पे और गोल घुमाएंगे, दोनों एक दिशा में, दोनों वन डायरेक्शन में। आगे टच करना है, फिर पीछे लेके जाना है, गोल घुमाएंगे। बिल्कुल बड़ा सा गोल करेंगे, घुमाएंगे। कंटिन्यू कंटिन्यू कंटिन्यू। अपोजिट डायरेक्शन में, जितना हो सके ऊपर लेके जाओ, ऊपर, स्ट्रेच अप, स्ट्रेच अप, स्ट्रेच अप, फिर आगे टच करेंगे, फिर से ऊपर, कंटिन्यू। रिलैक्स। अब बिल्कुल सिंपल है, राइट हैंड राइट शोल्डर पर, लेफ्ट हैंड स्ट्रेट, बिल्कुल इजी है, कुछ भी मुश्किल नहीं इसमें, बहुत सिंपल एक्सरसाइज है, सभी करेंगे। जिनको हार्ट की प्रॉब्लम हो, हाई बीपी हो, ऑपरेशन किया हो, वो लोग ध्यान से करेंगे, बिल्कुल धीरे से, जितना आप कर सकते हो उतना ही करेंगे, ज्यादा नहीं करना है, ध्यान रखो, जितना आप सहन कर सकते हो उस प्रकार से करेंगे। रिलैक्स। चलो, लास्ट के 3 मिनट है, मैं कुछ आपको खास ब्रेन के एक्सरसाइज सिखाऊंगा। आपको दिखाई दे रहा है, लेफ्ट हैंड की इंडेक्स फिंगर स्ट्रेट, राइट हैंड स्ट्रेट, ओके, चेंज, 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 चेंज। देखो दोनों करेंगे सभी, अगर हो सकता तो आप वीडियो ऑन करो तो मैं देख पाऊँ आप कैसे कर रहे हो। चेंज, चेंज, बिल्कुल सिंपल है, एक हाथ की इंडेक्स फिंगर, एक हाथ का थंब स्ट्रेट कर रहा हूं मैं, कुछ मुश्किल नहीं इसमें। रिलैक्स। अब मिडल फिंगर फोल्ड कर रहा हूं, एक हाथ की स्ट्रेट है, एक हाथ की फोल्ड है, देखो, चेंज, 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 चेंज। इस एक्सरसाइज से ब्रेन की एक्सरसाइज हो जाती है, डायरेक्ट न्यूरॉन सिस्टम के लिए ये बहुत हेल्प करता है। बिल्कुल सिंपल है, ओके। चलो नेक्स्ट, थंब एंड लिटिल फिंगर, थंब एंड लिटिल फिंगर, ये सभी कर सकते हैं। थंब एंड लिटिल फिंगर, थंब लिटिल फिंगर करो, थंब लिटिल फिंगर। इससे कंसंट्रेशन बढ़ता है, और ये करने के लिए भी कंसंट्रेशन चाहिए। अगर आप नहीं कर सकते हैं तो आंखें बंद करेंगे और ऑब्जर्व करेंगे अपने फिंगर्स को, बिना कंसंट्रेशन के ये नहीं होगा। सिंपल है बट इसके फायदे बहुत है, बैठे बैठे आप इसको कर सकते हैं, बिल्कुल सिंपल एक्सरसाइज है ना। ठीक है, लास्ट में 3 बार ओंकार करके हम पूरा करते हैं, सीधा बैठेंगे। ओंकार करते समय अ, उ और म, तीनों का उच्चार, तीनों को प्रोनाउंसिएशन क्लियर होना चाहिए। जब आप अ का उच्चार करते हो तो नाभि अंदर खींचेंगे, स्टमक को अंदर की तरफ खींचना है। मैं दिखा दो, बाद में आप सब लोग करेंगे। आंखें बंद करें, ओ, सभी करेंगे, गहरी सांसें ले, एक डीप ब्रीथ, स्टार्ट, ओंकार उच्चार, Om Shanti. Have a nice day. निकिता बहन जी, मैं ऑफ कर रहा हूँ.
थैंक यू प्रकाश भाई,
ओम शांति.
आपने सब ब्लेंड कराया फिजिकल एक्सरसाइज और ब्रेन की एक्सरसाइज के लिए. थैंक यू सो मच.
ओम शांति.
I hope that all the participants also took benefit and instead of just watching, they were also practicing the ones that they could do. Moving on, we have Brother Charlie with us. So we'll have a 1 minute cool down break for you to relax if you were exercising. Relax your body and mind, and then we'll start with the next session. I take this opportunity to welcome Brother Charlie amongst us all the way from Sydney. Hello, Charlie Bhai. Om Shanti.
Hello, Nikki, Ben. How are you? Lovely to see you.
Thank you. So, I would like participants to have a short introduction of Brother Charlie. Brother Charlie is the national coordinator of Brahma Kumaris, Australia. About his journey in the life, he grew up in Melbourne and he began his studies in architecture at the Melbourne University. Before his lifelong interest in spirituality and philosophy, which urged him to travel overland over 3 years around Asia to the Middle East and Europe. During this time, he lived in a variety of communities, including Buddhist, Christian, Sikhs, Muslim, and Hindu. In 1975, Brother Charlie went back to Australia to start the first center that he opened in Melbourne in 1977. His, having practiced meditation for over the last 40 years, Brother Charlie is internationally a much sought after meditation speaker, teacher, and a retreat leader. And his journey has taken him to about 80 countries. From experience, he knows that meditation is an extraordinary tool to maintain mental, emotional, and spiritual health in an increasingly challenging world. I personally know him as a very light person and he's also very caring. I invite him to share his inspirations with us and then lead us into a meditation on inner power. Brother Charlie, over to you.
So thank you so much, Sister Nikki. It's really a delight to be with all of you. And it's lovely to see Sister Nikki also, because she did spend a little bit of time in Australia and we have very lovely memories of that. I would just like to share for a few minutes and then we will enjoy some meditation together. If I was to ask all of you what you need most in your life, I wonder what you would say. Over the years, I've spent time with various groups and I've asked them that question. And quite often they come back with the answer, inner power. And I remember one group said that actually asking what we need is not the right question. We know what we need. We want peace, we want love, we want happiness. It's natural for a human being. The real question is, where do I get the inner power? Where do I get the inner strength to create that in my life. And I wonder whether you sometimes feel in your life, how can I change a certain attitude I have to somebody? How can I let go a habit? We all know how deep they are. How can I really let go maybe chronic negativity, worry, fear, all these things? Where do I really get the inner strength, the inner power? And to me, inner power is the ability to face problems. It's the inner strength to be honest with myself, completely honest. It's the inner strength to take responsibility for how I feel, rather than projecting and blaming, which is really the culture of our world today. It's the inner strength to let go and forgive. It's the strength to maintain quality thinking, even when situations are difficult around me. And when I hear all these things, how important is it to really fill myself with an inner power at this time? And, many times I think that the culture of our world today, what is the culture of our world? It's a culture that really drains me of power. Today's contemporary culture says everything important is out there. So I call it the outside-in culture. We look outside for everything I need inside. I look to you to love me, to give me love and support. I look to my job to give me a sense of self-respect. I look to my wealth and possessions to give me a sense of security. But all those things are in a flux of change. One day you may not show me love. Maybe my job is not permanent, or my possessions change, especially in an economy like we have in the world today. And so what happens is that I look outside, and in fact, the more I buy into this culture, the more vulnerable and weak I feel. Spirituality is actually the inside-out culture. I become aware that all the resources I need in life to remain stable, happy, strong, lie within me at this very moment. And more, we live in a world that is completely unstable. And I often feel that, look at the dysfunction in our planet at the moment. Look at it. Look at the chaos, the increasing chaos. To me, it's a reflection of the first relationship in life. When there's dysfunction between me and me, when there's a chaos within me, and then there's 7.8 billion human beings in a similar state, what sort of world do we have? An increasingly chaotic world. And this is why we have two simple steps to absolutely empower myself. And the first simple step is to know and experience who I am. And when I go deep into myself and I look at that question, to me, I see three personalities. And in fact, it's like a power struggle. But two of them make me very weak, and one of them begins to allow me to really build that inner strength and resilience back to face this unstable world. And I would say the first personality I call the eye of arrogance, or the eye of superiority. This personality takes all its labels from my body. And when my ego is ruling in my inner system, I compare and I think, I am better, I know more, I am right. The way I see life is right. But when it comes into my feelings, I feel so easily insulted, disrespected, not valued, excluded, sensitive. And so when my ego is ruling my inner world, I feel my mind is full of negative thoughts and feelings about others. I feel vulnerable, weak, and drained of inner power. So the first personality in me is my ego, which has made me feel so weak. The second is, in a sense, an inverted ego. It also takes my personality from all the temporary labels of my body. And this also compares and has a whole thinking, feeling, behavioral structure. This I thinks, compares with others, thinks others are better, others know more, others are right. Others don't love me, others don't value me. And when it comes into my feelings, I feel unworthy, inadequate, inferior, I would say depressed. And so when this is the I call the I of lack of self-respect, the I of inferiority. And so this also drains me of all my power. I have these constant negative and doubting thoughts about myself. The result? Up and down, my ego and my lack of self-respect. Spirituality says the third I is the original I, the eternal soul. And in this awareness is the secret to replenishing my inner power. And when I become aware that I am a soul, I begin to think that the soul is just a point, so minute, sitting in the front of the brain. I am the soul and I act through this body. Well, we know all this, we've learned it, but we haven't extracted the power because we haven't moved from knowing to experiencing. Meditation is taking truth, taking knowledge, and experiencing it, educating myself how to convert it from just a belief into an experience inside. Because when I begin to, know and feel I'm a soul, it's like I come home to a place inside where I feel so easy, so relaxed, so peaceful. And it's like I feel comfortable with who I am. I don't try to live up to an image, look good, impress people. This is the seed of rebuilding my inner power. But this is the first step. And the second step really begins with an audit, an internal audit. Just observe your inner world. What fills me with power and what drains me of power? And really, it's easy for all of us. When I have thoughts of love, thoughts of respect, thoughts of self-respect, I feel strong. But when my mind is full of anger and ego and hatred and blame, I feel weak. And I would say the essence of rebuilding real power, strength, resilience inside of myself is to experience true love. Sometimes I feel the subtext of life is really to experience the search for true love. We invest our heart in relationships. We give everything to our families, our friends. But there's a huge human dilemma that no relationship is permanent. Whether it's time, whether it's change, whether it's death, no relationship is permanent. And what I love about spirituality is we begin to explore the one relationship that is permanent, the relationship with the divine, the relationship with the supreme, the relationship with God. And I feel that there's like three sources of love in life. There's my family and friends, there's myself, and there's God. From myself, not much love coming. From God, I think a lot of us have some belief, but maybe not a real sense of love and belonging. And so my one source is my family and friends. And if there is a loss or a conflict, it's like my whole world goes into upheaval. What is spirituality? Spirituality is first taking the step to inner power by knowing and loving myself as a soul. And the second step to inner power is knowing and loving the Supreme Soul. And for me these days, as I move around the world, I think our minds are so out of control that, if you say to people, please just sit and meditate, to be frank, I think most of us find that very challenging. The mind runs here, runs there, goes everywhere. And deep down, there's a feeling it's too hard. I can't do it. And really what we learn in the Brahma Kumaris is to remember. You know, the most natural thing to your consciousness is to remember. At every second, you are remembering something. You're remembering what you have to do, what you have done, what someone said. It's the nature. And it's like the intellect remembers. It's like a thread. It connects. Each time you connect, you are with a person, a situation, you're influenced. In that millisecond you connect, you're influenced. And when you're influenced, you have a feeling in your mind. So just imagine you're sitting here, the soul, you're connecting with this, connecting with that, connecting there, connecting there. And each time you connect, you're influenced. And depending on what you connect, you drain of power, you fill with power. And so all day, up and down, up and down. The absolute logic of Rajyoga is to remember God, remember the divine. And when I do, I remember like this image behind a radiant point of light, an eternal soul, the supreme soul, Paramatma, an ocean of love, an ocean of peace, an ocean of purity, an ocean of happiness, an ocean of power. This is not imagination. This is a real soul. I am a soul too, but I sit in my body and you can see me expressing. But God is a soul, also like a point, but a soul that is never influenced, a soul that retains truth, a soul that is ever pure. And if I go about my day and I remember a family member, which we all do, and there's a loving, close relationship, as soon as I plug into that remembrance, I'm influenced by that positivity and I feel good. But if I remember a family member, there's problems, there's conflicts, there's differences. The second I plug in, I feel I'm influenced by that conflict. I feel bad. And often today, we plug into the past. We feel anxious about the future. We remember conflicts. We remember my performance at work and worry. And so I'm plugging into all these negative things and I'm just draining myself. I'm draining. I feel empty. I feel low, often depressed, unfortunately. And this is what we're going to do over the next 30 minutes or so. We're going to begin to remember who I am and remember the Supreme Soul and just begin to realize that as I go about my day, as I live my life, as I spend time with my family, if I plug the subtle thread of my mind into these positive energies, I'll feel strong. But if I keep plugging into the worries, the fears, the negative relationships, then what will happen? It's so logical. And I feel if I don't feel happy, if I feel down, if I feel unhappy, there's one question to ask. What am I remembering? What am I plugging my thoughts and my intellect into? Because if I remember these things of the past, the negative, the problems, the conflicts, it's logical. I download this heavy feeling inside my mind. So the first law says, you know, pay attention to what I remember. The second law says, whatever I remember will influence me. And the third law says that whatever influences me creates the vibration, the feeling in my mind, which is the quality of my life. And so if I remember the divine, if I remember God, the highest vibration, a vibration that sustains me, sustains the atmosphere, sustains my family. But if I remember all my family members and all the ups and downs and feelings, low vibration. And if I even remember my past, my mistakes, my story, what's happened to me, lowest vibration. Really, meditation is just remembering the lover of the soul. So let's enjoy some meditation. And I'm going to suggest, if you feel comfortable, I'm just going to move myself a little bit to the side. And I'm going to suggest to keep your eyes open and your eyes just resting on the image of light, just there. And I'm going to offer some thoughts. And if you can really try to stay with the thoughts, when we're at home, often so many distractions, people coming, people going, phones, all the technologies, really, it's more important than ever to give quality time to me so that I can really be strong enough to deal with all the challenges our world is facing. So just for these few moments, I'm going to move over here and I'm just going to offer a few thoughts. The aim of sitting quietly in this remembrance is to convert what I know into an experience. In a sense, we are having experiential thinking. I know rational thinking, logical thinking, creative thinking, but meditation is learning how to experience my thoughts. So for the next period of time, if you feel comfortable, just keep your eyes open and gently rest your vision towards the image of light on your screen. The first step to inner power is to know and experience who I am. Just visualize yourself as a tiny, minute spark of consciousness that sits in the front of the brain, in the center of the forehead. I, the eternal self, have lived before this body. I entered this body. I sit on the throne of the forehead. But as I grew up, I began to adopt all the labels of this body. The gender, the color, the religion, the profession. And often I define myself before with all these temporary labels. What is common to all these labels is that they're temporary. Only I, the soul, am permanent. And as I delve deeper into my permanent self, I begin to feel that I can never die. I always exist. I am non-physical, sitting in this wonderful body. But this body is my temporary self. So let me now begin the process of stepping into soul consciousness. Feel yourself going deeper and deeper. Just sit so lightly in the forehead. And I begin to clearly see how, when I adopt this body and I identify with being this, it breeds two children, my ego and my lack of self-respect. These two children have made me feel so weak, so easily influenced. They're the ones that make me in conflict with others or in conflict with myself. And the more I step into the awareness of myself as a soul, the more I begin to experience inner peace. Just allow your mind to rest. Just feel your thoughts cooling down. There's nothing to fear. Everything is okay. The law says, the more I become detached as an eternal soul from my temporary identity, the speed of my thinking begins to cool down. Just feel your mind calming, relaxing, feeling easy inside. The power of self-awareness is the power of true peace. I don't have to try to be peaceful. I don't have to psych myself up to feel peaceful. I just have to know and experience myself to be the soul, and the automatic consequence is a peaceful mind. I am a peaceful soul. I am a peaceful soul. And with this sweet feelings, this powerful vibration, I enter the next step of inner power. To connect with the Supreme Soul. Look through the eye of your mind and visualize a radiant jewel of light like you see on the screen. This is the Supreme, an eternal soul like me, the lover of the soul, the one who never takes birth and rebirth, but a soul who's absolutely real. It's not my imagination. It's like the Supreme resonates on the FM wavelength. If I identify with my temporary body, it's like I'm on the AM wavelength. I can believe, but I can't connect. The more I become the eternal point, the tiny soul, it's like I step into God's world. I feel the presence of the divine. And sitting in front of this divine light and energy, open your heart to feel the unlimited love, the ocean of love. There is no higher love than this love. This is the purity of love you will not find anywhere else. This is the love that I've been so thirsty for. Allow this love to flow into you. Just open your heart and allow yourself to be completely loved. Feel this love entering the core of your being. Just feel this pure, benevolent love. How do you feel? How do you feel? It's like an inner healing. I feel so free from so much of my past. I become light. Just feel yourself stepping back into your true self, into your inner power once again. When I have truth and true love, all my inner power begins to re-emerge. Just feel yourself filling resilient, stable, courageous. All I'm doing is focusing the thread of my intellect to the lover of the soul. If as I go about my life, I keep the thread with this lover, I can face any situation. I can face any person. Even when I'm criticized or defamed, I don't feel hopeless. Because this love gives me back my self-respect. The great gift of God's love is self-respect. And when I live in this self-respect, I can respect everyone. When I live in this self-respect, I will be loving and I will be loved. When I live in this self-respect, I will be naturally humble. Self-respect is my own evaluation of the inner me. It's not an evaluation of my skills, my talents, my achievements. It's this deep, rich feeling of my own self-value. There is nothing more precious than to step back into my self-respect. Because it makes everything in life easy. And when I'm in this self-respect, I observe these deep beliefs I sometimes hold about myself. The belief that I'm inferior, the belief that I'm not good enough, the belief that others won't like me, the belief that I'm impure. And when I hold these beliefs about myself, they make me weak. And sometimes I'm addicted to these beliefs. But with this love of God, this connection with the divine, I begin to break down these old beliefs about myself. This is the spiritual journey. Letting go the old me, the weak, the vulnerable, the unhappy, the old me, and stepping into my true self. Stepping into my original power by knowing who I am and remembering the divine. when I begin to carry this into each part of my life, everything begins to change. The more I remember the divine God, and I download, I live stream this pure love, this pure peace into the sacred space of my mind, this vibration sustains me, and it creates an atmosphere around me. And it sustains the people I love. So many of us wonder, how can I support some family members who are struggling? They're feeling hopeless about themselves and their lives, and even hopeless about the future. Sometimes our words fall on deaf ears, but the more my mind is remembering the one who's true and pure, just my vibration, my face, my eyes give power to others. The more I step into my inner power, my state of mind can give support and power to those around me. In fact, this is the highest service in life, to create an elevated vibration and carry it with you. And your inner world will make others light, will help them let go their anxiety about what will happen, and help them let go all the worries and fears. The more I take from God, the more I have to give. There is no more beautiful life than the life of being threaded with one, with the divine, and giving to everyone. And when I do this, I see beyond the bodies and the differences. I see beyond the game of male or female, or Indian or Western, or Hindu or Muslim. My vision goes right beyond to that which is eternal, the soul. Every soul is my brother, and my mind, full of the perfume of love and purity, gives a gift to everyone else. This is such a beautiful life. When I feel I'm an instrument to spread God's light and love. Seeing our world at the moment, seeing our family, our friends, our colleagues, and what they're facing, the challenges in front of them. To transform myself is the greatest support I can give to them. So let me give time to me. It is now essential to give time to my truth, to take the 2 steps of inner power and start to live my life as a powerful soul. So I would like to thank all of you from my heart. Thank you for your attention. It's now nearly midday in Australia, but it's still in the morning in India. So I do hope you have an absolutely beautiful and empowered day. And no matter what happens, keep on top of it. Keep remembering who you are, remembering the divine, and everything will be okay. So thank you so much for having me. And thank you, Sister Nikki. I think
Thank you. Thank you so much, Charlie Bhai. That was really insightful and empowering. The aspects of ego and self-respect is something very deep, and that is something that we all keep shuffling between at different points of time. It was wonderful to have you with us. A few people have a couple of questions. Would you want to have time to answer those?
I have time. If you have time, it's no problem.
Okay. So the first question is from Dr. Sheetal Patel, who's asking how to respond to criticism and what to do when we hear our family members speaking ill about us behind our back.
You know, I think that, a part of life is that we are sometimes shown so much love and care, but there's not one of us who hasn't been criticized and put down. And the way I see it for myself, when I look at these 3 personalities inside of me, my ego, my lack of self-respect, and my true self, the soul, actually, which personality is accepting that criticism? It's my ego. Because we've grown up that I'm a body, I'm a temporary body. And so my ego of superiority, my ego of inferiority are dominating my life. The law says the more ego, the more sensitivity. The thing is that I can't control other people. Why do people criticize? Because they're self-critical. They've lost their own self-respect. And then they criticize me because they're critical of themselves. And then I get sensitive, I get hurt, and then I criticize them. And then what happens to my family relationships? There's just this game of give and take of sorrow. And honestly, in my journey, I've been a meditator now for 45 years, that I've changed so much from being sensitive and hurt by criticism to maybe once or twice it affects a little bit, not much anymore. It's freedom. Only my ego accepts sorrow. And when you're soul conscious, you can remain in your self-respect. Not only that, you can even give respect to the one who criticizes you. And this is how you change people. I was actually in South Africa when Nelson Mandela was made the president. And you know what I found from him is that he respected his enemies. And that's the most incredible thing. When people are defaming you, putting you down, and you respect them, you disarm them completely. But you need an inner strength. You need power to be able to do that. I would say the main question wherever I go in the world is how do I respond to negative people? It's, we can't remove the negative people, but I can remove my reaction to negative people. And this is where the whole of the spiritual journey, stepping back into my inner power, and you'll be absolutely amazed that if you really do practice, you will find that you get less and less and less influenced by people, opinions, vibrations, comments, faces, all the stuff that often is controlling how I feel about myself. When I lose my inner power, I'm like a slave to others, because I need you to respect me because I can't respect myself. So if you respect me, I'm okay. But if you don't respect me, I'm devastated. Really, I've learned so deeply on this journey to be uninfluenced by others, and it's the biggest freedom in life. But being honest, it does take time and it does take patience, but it's worth the investment. Really, it's worth the investment.
Thank you, Charlie Bhai. There are people who have been sending messages of appreciation, who liked your session. And before I take the next question, if anyone has any questions, you can send them to me on the private chat and I'll take them up. There's a question, Charlie Bhai, you mentioned about having a good relationship with ourselves. So Smith Bhatt is asking, how does one do that, and in that, what faculties of the soul work?
I think, like I was just touching on, because I just spoke briefly, look at the dysfunction in our world. And really, I would say, not just year by year, even month by month, it seems to be becoming more chaotic, dysfunctional. Why? Because the first relationship with us, me with myself, is becoming more dysfunctional by the month, more chaotic. It's actually realizing that how I feel about myself is the sort of seed of the quality of my life. And when, as I was saying, that the soul bases itself, I see myself as a temporary body, and those two personalities I've created, my ego of superiority, my ego of inferiority, absolutely dominating. Having a good relationship with myself is practicing to connect with myself as a soul. So I don't start to think anymore, I'm not Charlie. I'm not even identifying with being a male or an Australian or an architect or whatever I am. This is all temporary. I'm actually having a relationship with my intrinsic self. And as I begin to really start to think and practice to be here, what I found, it's amazing. The more you learn to connect and experience who you are, the overthinking, the overactive mind cools down, and you taste a quality of peace. I often feel the first human right is peace. Every human being should know peace of mind, but I would say hardly any have experience of peace of mind today. And it's not just something to believe. This is like religion and devotion. We just believe stuff. Yes, it gives a little bit of power. No, this is to practice. So I need to practice really to strengthen this relationship with myself as a soul. So as I go about my day, the whole day, what I do, I pay this gentle attention. I'm not stressful. I'm just watching my attitude. Because when I'm self-conscious, I'm loving, I'm kind, I'm respectful, I'm peaceful, I'm non-reactive. And if I see myself becoming a little bit sharp, a little bit short, reactive, I know I've stepped out of the truth of this relationship with myself, and I'm going back under the influence of my old ego or my lack of self-respect. The reality is it takes practice over a period of time, but there is no greater investment in quality of life than to start to practice who you are. And one of the main reasons, when you really feel yourself to be a soul, you feel it so deeply that you really begin to understand what death is, that death is really nothing. We know it, we sort of believe it, and we hear it, in temples and churches and stuff. But when I really experience myself as a soul, I'm actually able to really connect with God. If I'm body conscious, I'm just like devotional religious. But when I'm soul conscious, I can look through this eye and I see and I touch, I taste, I feel. I really have a real lover who's with me every day, a true friend who's really supporting me through this challenging world in which I live. And to me, I practice soul consciousness all day, trying to improve this relationship with myself. This is really what the spiritual journey is.
Thank you, Chalibai. I'm afraid there are a lot of questions, but overall, if I summarize them, it's about relationships. Somebody says that their daughter is undergoing depression, and her depressed states makes me feel extremely low and makes me feel as a failure somewhere as a mother. How do I deal with her and bring peace to her chaotic mind?
I went on a speaking tour with quite a prominent businessman who's very, very well known, rich. And, he was completely depressed. And he was saying that the United Nations, the World Health Organization says 1 in 4 is clinically depressed. And do you know my experience? It's much higher than that. In fact, I would say the majority of the human race is depressed at the moment. Depression in psychology is like a sadness that my dream in life to be loved, to be valued, hasn't happened. But spiritually, depression is like a mourning for the loss of my true identity. The way kids are today, they're into, I've got to be out there, I've got to look good, I've got to be an image, I've got to be noticed. And inside, I find it's not just young people, they're so intellectually sharp, but so emotionally fragile, so spiritually fragile. And really, to the lovely mother who asked the question, the more you worry about your daughter, the worse it is really for you and the daughter. If you strengthen yourself, and the thing is that because we need love in life, we see, just our immediate family as our love and our support. And then from almost every family, and I can say that authoritatively, some of them are depressed, unhappy, disturbed. And so I spend my life trying to help. And yet I get dragged into that too. If you, first of all, strengthen the first relationship of love with yourself and with God, you will have power to give to your daughter. And I would say that the more you empower yourself, you will automatically, that will help your daughter. And you don't have to say much. It's just being who you are. We are at a time in the world where I'm afraid the superficiality of life is so extreme that kids born in, it's just so superficial. The pressure on them on a career, the pressure of them for a worldly success, all these things, but inside people feel empty. And it's not true love that they're receiving. And I would really say that you strengthen yourself and you will automatically be able to support your daughter. And really, when you can remain stable and uninfluenced by your daughter's problems, she will come up to your level. But if you remain influenced by her, you will go down to her level. It's not easy. We know it's not easy, but, it's like, I've got to do something. and give time and prioritize time to learn to meditate properly. And when you get that strength from God, you will be amazed how much you can give support, not to only to your daughter, but to so many others too. And really my experience is that, deep down, the strongest people in the world are mothers. Really, I really feel that. It's the mothers who are the sort of the seed of a family, and the mothers have a resilience, an incredible resilience. And I find too, when the mothers get that strength from God, they can perform extraordinary, do so many wonders. It's really amazing. So, best wishes.
Thank you, Charlie Bhai. You also have a lot of motherly qualities, I must mention that. The last question that we are picking up is from Rini, who says that
Nikki, I just lost you.
present mother is very ill. My mother and sister are. Am I audible now?
Yes, you are. I'm sorry. Just at the beginning of the question, somehow I lost you.
Okay. Rini is asking, presently my father is very ill. My mother and sister are going through the pain while I'm unable to be with them physically. She's somewhere far away. How can I render my service to them spiritually?
Yeah, it's a beautiful question. I think that, what I've learned, you can't underestimate the power of your mind and the power of your thoughts. Light travels at 186,000 miles a second. Your thoughts are instant. So if you're sitting, Renee, and you're worrying about your dad, quite honestly, those thoughts exacerbate the problem. But if you just you visualize perhaps the face of your dad, but you see the soul. The soul is eternal. The soul will always exist. The soul can never die. And you see the soul in this life, the soul in your father is playing a beautiful role for you. But deeply look at him and give him good wishes and love on the soul level, and you will give him power. And do the same for your mother and your sister too. Really, the more we worry, and I've learned so much on this spiritual journey, not just learned, but experienced, that really the way we support each other is through our mind and our vibrations. And the more you keep your mind healthy, it's an automatic support for the family. The more you're sitting away from them worrying and feeling afraid and imagining the future, this might happen, that might happen. And if you don't mind me saying also, really, I think one of the greatest myths of our modern time is around death. We've made death into such a stigma, but the soul can never die. And that's why when I become so conscious and I start to see others as souls, I even understand deeply death is just change. It's inevitable. It's inevitable. And when we take so much sorrow from loss, it impacts my life. The more you know and realize yourself, the more you know and feel close to God, you can manage any challenge in life. You really can. And you can do that. And the main thing, I would just keep your mind so elevated, so positive, so benevolent, and give that live stream, that energy to your dad and your mother and sister. And even though you live far away, you'll be a huge support to them. There's two types of support. There's emotional support and spiritual support, and of course, physical, 3 types. Physical, you help with all the physical needs. Emotional, you encourage, you say, it's okay, don't worry. But the next day they come back and they're back in that, worry, fear. Spiritual support is when you hold the value of someone in your attitude, and you hold that, their goodness, their power. You empower them by holding their value. You sort of know they can do something. They have the strength to do it. And that's the power of an elevated mind, a soul-conscious mind.
Thank you, Charlie Bhai. I guess in the
Nikki, I just lost you
entire
again.
session, lot many people have got lots of answers. I think in your entire session, all the sharings that you have made, you have answered many questions of many people in many ways. Thank you again, Charlie Bhai, for being with us. And I request the participants to hold on for a minute for a couple of announcements. Charlie Bhai, many people have said thanks to you and they would want to connect with you personally as well, and definitely want to have you with us sometime again.
Okay, Nikki, no problem. And thank you to everybody. It's really been a delight to be with you. And thank you, Nikki. Great to see you too. And
Okay.
yep, thanks
Thank you,
everyone.
Charlie
Maybe
Bhai.
see you
Have a
again.
nice day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Everyone would be aware that we are having these sessions of Let's Meditate every morning and evening. The morning sessions are from 6:30 to 7 a.m. every morning for half an hour in English. And in evening, the sessions are from 7:30 to 8, again 30 minutes in Hindi. Today, we are having another special session in the evening from 7 to 8 with Sister Sudesh from Germany in Hindi. So, all of you who understand Hindi, I request you to please be present to take maximum benefit of Sister Sudesh's presence in today's session. Thank you, everyone. And we have a number displayed on the screen. If you would like to join our WhatsApp group for Let's Meditate, you can send a message on this number and we'll let you join the group. Thank you, everyone, for joining, and see you again in the evening or tomorrow morning. Have a nice day. Bye. Om Shanti.